Oh, I'm sorry. So if we confirmed a liberal, we have to confirm every single conservative? What?
How about that? That's where I am at this point. So this is a clip from Alex Jones during the trial where Alex Jones simply could not help himself. He was very disciplined. This is just one of those clips that I find to be hysterical every time I watch it.
There's going to be an objection.
Alex Jones was disciplined during the trial. Pretty sure one of the reasons why he got such huge penalties against him is because he literally didn't give a fuck for any of the trials. No, I haven't like dug into the title or not the title. I haven't dug into the like all of the data on this, but or the reporting or whatever the fuck. My understanding is he basically just said fuck it to all of his trial shit, and that was one of the reasons why he got so heavily punitively penalized. November 15th, the judge found Jones liable by default for defamation for willful noncompliance. 26 court rulings requiring Jones to testify under oath. Jones was later ordered to undergo a sworn deposition along with 3 other defendants related to the operation of InfoWars. He was also ordered to turn over internal business documents relating to InfoWars. In this deposition, in the last week of March 2019, Jones acknowledged the deaths were real, stating he had almost like a form of psychosis where he basically thought everything was staged. Are these depositions on camera? Like, are there recordings of these on YouTube? I don't want to get into all this shit, dude. I'm going to off myself. On March 25th, 2019, Jeremy Rickman, one of the plaintiffs whose daughter Aviel was killed, committed suicide. Jones, through his lawyer, offered condolences to Richmond's family, but later that day on his show suggested that Richmond had been murdered and that his death had something to do with special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian election interference. What did he actually say? Holy fuck. I wonder how many hours there is of all of this court shit. "43-second ad. I would become a conspiracy theorist." Holy shit. Oh, wait. Is it this?
Again, I said I'd cover it next segment so I could think about this, but there really nothing to think about. You know, my life's an open book. And imagine I'm on a 4-minute break. I'm in there talking to him about posting the Joe Rogan interview that we're going to air coming up. TimFullWars.com from last week. He would have been live in studio, but his plane was late. It's powerful. And they go, "Hey, have you heard about this? This poor Sandy Hook father is found dead. They're not sure if it's suicide or what."
Oh, no.
And I'm just stepping back.
Oh, no.
Looking at this. Shot himself in front of the town hall. I mean, how do I get a fair trial with stuff like this? I've never said this guy's name. Never said his name until now. And we're obviously, first it's, we don't know, he's got gunshot wounds or whatever. Now it's, well, apparent suicide. I mean, is there going to be a police investigation? Are they going to look at the surveillance cameras? I mean, what happened to this guy? This whole Sandy Hook thing is like really getting even crazier. And the way the media has been on this since day one is what made people suspicious when the media blamed all Americans for what happened. People are sick of that.
Imagine doing this in the middle of all your trials. Holy fuck.
Bad people are to blame for what happens with guns or cars or knives or baseball bats, but we should pray for the family of this poor gentleman. We pray for Jeremy Richmond's family. Well,
Okay, what is this?
Stands, people don't like them, and they have crippled us before these lawsuits. And I mean, in fact, we went back, and you can see where we talk about Sandy Hook, and the listeners, everything goes down.
I mean, and really, I mean, if we look at this at the end of the day, I mean, really, you're the victim, aren't you?
No, but I've certainly learned a lot in the process.
You've learned how to not be a reckless journalist, right? Objection as to the form.
Well, I think certainly I have I've experienced real fake news, watching the corporate media lie in my name and put things out that I never did in a concerted effort. And so I've learned what I certainly the polar opposite of what I want to be, because I never consciously try to lie or hurt people, and I did not make money off saying 9/11 was an event where we allowed the Saudis to attack us. So that's come out. I lost at 120 something stations, went down to about 30. A lot of stations dumped us when we were talking about Sandy Hook. So if the statement is I say these things and do these things to make money, that is not what we are doing. Money coming in is to fund the operation, to promote really questioning things, and to build an alternative system. And it doesn't mean then when you're being an alternative system that you're perfect. But that's basically where I stand on that.
Okay, I just do want to make sure it's not a non-profit situation. You're not doing this for the charity of your own heart.
No, I'm not like the nonprofits, the whole conspiracy where they're buying the college admissions and they call that a charity, or Hillary's foundation. No, I'm not running anything like that.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Mr. Jones.
Where all these people make millions of dollars on their tax-free charities, no, I don't do that.
Okay, so
You were asking me if I was running a nonprofit scam, and the answer is no, I don't. I'm gonna do those, I pay taxes.
I won't even mess with that. Mr. Jones, I think we're about wrapped up today. If you could give me just a small break, make sure that we're all wrapped up. I think we got about 45 minutes left in the day, but I'm not going to use it for you. I'm going to let you get out of here.
I'm happy.
I mean, hey, if you want to stick around and talk, we can talk. But you might need to do that off the record. You might not need to put that on the testimony. But I'm happy to do that. But let's take just a quick break, and why don't y'all give us about 5 minutes? 4:14. We're back on the record at 4:20:18. One of the things I was curious about, Mr. Jones, do you think that there's a question that I should have asked you today in deposition that I didn't?
That's a good question. Question you should ask me. I can't think of any.
Okay, Mr. Jones. You would agree with me that when some damage happens, when you break something, when you cause something to be lost, when you hurt somebody, whether it's intentional or whether it's a mistake, there's consequences for that, right? People should be accountable for the people they hurt. Objection is to form.
Well, sometimes people claim they've been hurt and they haven't been. So you have to look at the agenda behind things. You have to balance things about why has the mainstream media lied so much, why have governments lied so much, the fact the public doesn't believe what they're told anymore, and we're going to criminalize questioning Jussie Smollett or WMDs or babies and incubators. And it really is the fact that we've allowed the government and institutions to become so corrupt that people have lost any compass of what's real. And I myself have almost had like a form of psychosis back in the past where I basically thought everything was staged. I've now learned a lot of times things aren't staged. So I think as a pundit and someone giving an opinion, that my opinions have been wrong, but they were never wrong consciously to hurt people. And so I think it's part of that process of me growing up in Rockwall, Texas, and watching the police steal drugs and then conduct anti-drug programs at the school. I think that shook my opinion of police in general, and I was very anti-law enforcement until I grew up and learned more things, and now I'm pretty much pro-police. So it's been a process.
You said false things about Sandy Hook because of the psychosis.
I would say,
Correct?
well, I'm just saying that the trauma of the media and the corporations lying so much, then everything begins, you don't trust anything anymore. Kind of like a child whose parents lie to them over and over again. Well, pretty soon they don't know what reality is. So long before these lawsuits, I said that in the past I thought everything was a conspiracy, and I would kind of get into that mass groupthink of the communities that were out there saying that. So now I see that it's more in the middle, and so that's where I stand.
I'm a little concerned about something I heard in your answer, that it seemed to be you suggesting that you weren't sure if these parents have suffered pain from what you did.
Well, I was stating that I was reporting on the general questioning and what others were questioning. And it's painful that we have to question big public events. I think that's an essential part of the First Amendment in America. And I do not take responsibility for the entire train of things that lawyers, the media have said I've done. So I do not take the responsibility. I do not take your indictment or your presumed conviction of me as the villain or the star of Homeland, because that's not who I am. And so I reject it.
Saying the school is closed and was closed for years, that's not questioning. That's a statement of fact, Mr. Jones, isn't it? Objection is due for.
I was going off what other people were saying and about the fact that the records were not forthcoming, and the Hartford Current headline, why is there a cover-up? Why are no documents being released? Why is it taking so long?
The EMTs weren't allowed in the building. That's not a question, Mr. Jones. That's a statement, correct? Objection is due for.
And again, that was my going off what someone else who I believe to be a credible expert was saying.
Mr. Jones, are you finally prepared to admit that you have indeed caused these families a substantial amount of pain. Are you prepared to admit that?
I am not prepared to sign on to whatever you and the mainstream media make up about me.
All right, Mr. Jones, that'll have to be it. I'll see you next time.
One else to do, just put this on the record, just to make the confidentiality part. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah, to say that you're designating on the protective order?
Yes,
Please
please.
go ahead, Mr. Barnes.
So what we have in the protective order is that for the 30 days following any deposition, the parties must treat all of the deposition testimony and exhibits and other documents produced at any deposition as attorney's eyes only, and so they're marked confidential until that time. Thank you, Gary.
Can I ask my question now? When it's the same form, second time, the inference is going to also be
I
objective.
didn't say Parkland was fake. I didn't say Uvalde was. And no,
Wait, what was his favorite clip?
This is just one of those clips that I find to be hysterical every time I watch it.
There's going to be another objection. Can I ask my question now?
When it's the same form, second time, the inference is going to also be objective.
I didn't say Parkland was fake. I didn't say Uvalde was. And no,
Oh, it cuts to Rumble, so we don't know.
years ago I thought something would happen.
Rob Parker's sitting right here. He's real, isn't he?
Yes?
And for years, you put a target on his back, didn't you?
Objection to the form of that, Judge.
Well, I mean,
Didn't you?
I've said his name. It's true. I haven't said other people's names when they are.
You put a target on his back just like you did.
Wait, did the judge answer for the?
Didn't you?
Objection to the form of that, Judge.
Well, I mean,
She said over and over.
I've admitted I've said his name. It's true. I haven't said other people's names when they are.
You put a target on his back just like you did every single parent and loved one sitting here, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
No, you didn't.
That's argumentative. It's speculative. There is no foundation for it, and it's inappropriate to
Let's
this
move
time.
on.
He's a real people. You know that,
Objection,
Mr.
Judge.
Jones?
I think you just told him to move on.
Just like all the Iraqis, but you liberals kill and love. It's just, you're unbelievable. You switch on emotions on and off when you want. It's just ambulance chasing.
Why don't you show a little respect?
Objection, Judge. I think that if you get what you give this court. Objection.
You have families in this courtroom here that lost children, sisters, wives, moms.
Is this a struggle session? Are we in China?
Jesus.
I've already said I'm sorry hundreds of times, and I'm done saying I'm sorry. I didn't generate this. I wasn't the first person to say it. American gun owners didn't like being blamed for this, as the left did, so we rejected it mentally and said it must not be true. But I legitimately thought it might have been staged, and I stand by that, and I don't apologize for it.
And don't apologize, Mr. Jones. Please don't apologize.
No, I've already apologized to the parents over and over
Because
again.
we know
I
you're
don't apologize to you.
Objection,
Don't apologize to
objection.
you.
You're going to do it again.
Objection, Judge.
Aren't you?
Objection. Objection. Argumentative.
Don't apologize to you.
Well, it's hard for me to get a word in edgewise.
It is, but I
Because
think
your
there's one
client-
officer of the court and one witness and
So
an officer of the
why
court
don't
heard
we
the
move on,
objection.
and I can't rule on your attorney's, excuse me.
I'm sorry. Just don't leave me.
I can't rule on your attorney's objection.
Understand.
Keep talking, and he may have legitimate.
You're right. I'm sorry. I'm trying.
Because there's going to be another Robbie Parker, isn't there?
Objection, Judge.
No.
Sustained.
There's going to be another.
Objection.
Can I get my questions out?
When it's
Remember, the whole point of a trial, the entire point of a trial is to just give information to the jury. That's the whole point. That's the only reason you do a trial, is to just basically, the jury is a group of computers and you're just trying to input information into the computers, okay? When your attorney is saying objection, what he's trying to say is like, hey, hold on, the jury shouldn't have that information. Don't put that information in. So if you're on the stand and your own attorney is saying objection and you keep talking, you're fucking yourself, okay? You're fucking yourself over because your attorney's trying to tell you to shut the fuck up.
There's going to be another Robbie Parker, isn't there?
objection, Judge.
No.
Sustained.
There's going to be another.
Objection.
Can I get my questions out?
When it's the same
How did he call an objection before he asked the question? I didn't even hear it.
form, second time, the inference is it's going to also be
I
objective.
didn't say Parkland was fake. I didn't say Uvalde was. And
Like he shouldn't. Like, why are you talking right here? You shouldn't be saying anything. Shut the fuck up. Why are you why say anything?
no. Okay. So that's a fact.
What did you say about Aurora?
Objection.
Before this,
What'd you say about Aurora?
Excuse me, are you objecting to
I
your
believe it was a
client?
shooting, but he was in a mind control program, just like Theodore Kaczynski. Sorry.
Are you objecting to your client's answers, attorney?
Yeah. What do you even object at this point? He's like, ma'am, can I please make my client shut the fuck up?
I
Status?
suppose the answers to the questions. This is a courtroom, not a drama. Not a
So
trial.
here's what I'll tell you, Mr. Jones.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
You're in a court of law. You have to follow the rules as the attorneys do or officers of the court, and they are accountable to me, and I will deal with them. However, while there were media in the room, this is not a press conference. This is clearly not your show, and you need to respect the process.
I understand.
Whether you like it or not, you have to follow the rules.
I understand, Your Honor.
So just take a breath, have a little water if you like, and wait for the next
Judge,
question.
I believe there's another admonishment as
Oh, counsel, I'll see you on a sidebar.
Oh. Do we get to hear sidebar stuff?
If I admonish anybody, it's going to be both of you, okay? You're shouting over your client. You just have to stop. Okay, so let's get the next question and let's move forward.
I believe sidebar means that whatever they discuss is not allowed to be considered by the jury, I believe, right?
Mr. Jones, there's going to be another mass shooting. Objection.
One word basis, hearsay, irrelevant.
Wait, did he even get that? Wait. I'm sorry, hold on. I didn't.
There's going to be another mass shooting. Mr. Jones, there's going to be another mass shooting. Objection.
One word basis, hearsay, irrelevant, what is it? One word,
Argumentative.
overruled.
Does he just have a book of all of them in front of him? Like, fuck.
There's going to be another mass shooting.
Are you saying I'm going to shoot people? Like, how do I know there's been another mass shooting? Like, it's my fault. People think I killed the kids. And that's my answer to you.
Let me see if I can ask my question again.
Sure.
You expect there's going to be another mass shooting, don't you?
There probably will be.
And when there is, you're going to do ready to pounce, right? Objection.
No.
No? Relevance?
Why? Like, why? Shut the fuck up. And like, why are you? Is he even paying the lawyer? Or is this like a public? Can you have a public defender for defamation for civil suits? What? Like, let your lawyer work, my dude.
Why don't you look at your screen there, sir? Pull it to 76, Mr. Jones, please.
Say 76?
Yes.
Yes, that is for exhibit.
Pull it for everybody. This is your homepage, right?
Objection.
Infowars.com?
It's out of date.
I can't. Blow it up, please. Yes.
This is Mikhail Gorbachev, right? He died about 3 weeks ago, didn't he?
Yes.
Why don't you pull up the right side of the page? A little bit bigger, please, just the part survey there. And you're asking your audience that comes to your page to take a survey, aren't you? Correct?
Yes.
Wait, is that the? What will be the most likely deep state false flags ahead of the midterms? Mass shootings, power grid collapse, terror plot / bombing, COVID resurgence. Okay.
To take a survey, aren't you? Correct?
Yes, I didn't write the survey, but
And the survey is,
good questions.
what will be the most likely
Good question.
deep state false flag ahead of the midterms, right?
Yes.
What's the first option?
The mass shooting, but I didn't write the poll.
Excuse me, sir. Mass shooting?
Yes.
And so when the next mass shooting comes, you're already conditioning your audience to believe that it's a fake staged event, aren't you? Objection.
Well, false flag doesn't necessarily mean staged. It means they let it.
Still talk. What did she just like? Ah, fuck it. What? He's just fucking going. He says, "Fuck you." I will answer this question.
Staged event, aren't you? Objection.
Well, false flag doesn't necessarily mean staged. It means they let it happen.
How many people responded to this survey, sir?
I don't know.
Look at the you can see the judge.
Well, false flag doesn't necessarily mean staged. It means they let it happen.
How many people responded to this survey, sir?
I don't know. I wasn't looking at it.
But there's going to be a mass shooting. And you're inviting your audience, even now, even after all this, to suspect.
Oh, did she say overruled? Oh, I didn't even hear it.
I wasn't looking at it.
But there's going to be How many people responded to this survey, sir?
I don't know. I wasn't looking at it.
But there's going to be a mass shooting.
Wait, fuck.
Objection.
Well, false flag doesn't necessarily mean staged. It means they let it happen.
How many people
Wait, how are you guys hearing that? Do I have hearing damage? Or are you guys like fucking?
staged event, aren't you? Objection.
Well, false flag doesn't necessarily mean staged.
Oh, she says overruled. Okay, he's still talking anyway.
It means they let.
There's going to be a mass shooting. And you're inviting your audience, even now, even after all this, to suspect that the next people, the next Robbie Parker, the next family are actors too.
Objection. Argumentative.
No, I didn't say Uvalde was staged. I said the police did over 77 minutes. And then the others either power grid collapse, terror plot, bombing, COVID.
Right. Could
The
be
U.S.
entities.
government said the Russians.
It could be entities, right, Mr. Jones?
The U.S. government said the Russians staged a false flag to start the Ukraine war, and I believe it.
Right, Your Honor.
Yeah, they're real.
So, Mr. Jones, whenever the next mass shooting strikes, we can be pretty sure what you're going to do, right?
Does it even matter if she rules on it when Jones is volunteering the info anyways? I don't think it does matter. I think if you want to volunteer more information, I think you can do that as long as you're not violating something else. But I mean, if you want to talk, like, I think the objection is there to protect your right not to speak. But if you want to speak anyway, as long as you're not breaking another rule, I'm pretty sure the jury would hear it.
Objection, speculative.
Yes or no?
I didn't write that poll, but I stand behind it. I've never seen that poll, but I think that's a reasonable question.
I'm done, Your Honor.
I've never seen that poll.
Objection, speculative.
Mass shooting strikes, we can be pretty sure what you're going to do, right?
Objection, speculative.
Yes or no?
I didn't write that poll, but I stand behind it. I've never seen that poll, but I think that's a reasonable question.
I'm done, Your Honor.
All right, so we are going to end here for the day. Ron will collect your notepads. I know you're tired of hearing me say it, but it is just so important that you continue to make all reasonable efforts to make sure that you avoid any and all media coverage of this trial or anything or anyone that is in any way, shape, or form related to it. Please be careful when you leave the courthouse to avoid anyone.
Is this the same trial where I don't know if this is the same one where all the text messages got leaked.
Let's zoom in on the little article up.
This is a different attorney, so I don't know if this is a different trial or not, but yes, it is the same trial.
And you had interaction.
Wait, I feel like we watched this a long time ago. I don't remember.
And you had interaction with Debbie Lloyd when you were in the house, correct?
Yes, briefly.
Okay. And isn't it true that in the entire time you were there, you were not informed as to what caused damage to Mr. Depp's finger on March 8th?
Objection, hearsay.
I'm asking what he wasn't told.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
You didn't know what could cause damage to Mr. Depp's hand while you were there on March 8th, correct?
Dr. Kipper told me he sustained an injury on one of his fingers.
Objection, hearsay.
Wait, you asked the question.
Okay.
Next question.
Okay, you said he sustained an injury to his finger,
Yes,
but you don't know what caused the injury to his finger.
one of his fingers.
Okay. Based. We watched this on stream. It wasn't even that long ago. Fuck it, dude. I don't care. Fuck it. Well, we will rewatch some of this. Fuck, this was so fucking funny. Holy shit. Absolute cinema.
I'm going to walk over to this to you so we can kind of point it. I know it's a little hard to read. You might be able to read a little better on your screen. But this is a zoom of Mr. Watson has sent you a screenshot from Infowars.com, correct?
Appears to be.
Yeah, and it has an article here, right?
Yeah.
And it says, staged. Video shows hospital using dummies in ER for coronavirus footage. What it says?
The coughs are very loud. Hold on. Fuck, this is just Kino.
I believe so.
Let's go to the first message from Mr. Watson. Read along with me, Mr. Jones. He says, this is a video.
Sorry, excuse me 1 second.
No problem. Take your time.
Oh,
You ready?
yeah, you may not think it's a problem, but it's a real one.
Sure.
Just give me a second. All right, go ahead.
Mr. Watson says, this is a video of a medical student training to intubate. Makes us look ridiculous, suggesting this means COVID is fake. Sandy Hook all over again. I read that correctly?
Yes.
Go to the next message. What'd you tell Mr. Watson?
I get it.
Mr. Jones, it's true
that this article is right now live on Infowars.com. I can pull it up, right?
I've never seen this text message. I guess you guys got Paul's. My phone didn't save them. So that's fine with me.
Your phone didn't save the second one.
I told you guys I gave it to the lawyers and said they drained the phone, they didn't find that stuff. I don't know how my phone's.
You gave it to the lawyers. They were supposed to find it. So that's what testimony is?
No, I searched it as well. I mean, so you guys have all this stuff and you say we didn't give anything. It's
Mr.
ridiculous.
Jones, you know how an iPhone works, right? You've had iPhone text messaging for several years now.
Yeah.
What does it mean if the messages are in blue? Whose messages are those? Whose phone is this taken from?
I don't know whose phone's taken from. I mean, I turned the phone over and said, take the stuff off.
Can I have you look in the very bottom below the very bottom left corner? Is that your phone number?
Yes. So you did get my text messages. And it said you didn't. Nice trick.
Yes, Mr. Jones.
Oh.
Indeed. You didn't give this text message to me. You don't know where this came from. Do you know where I got this?
No.
Mr. Jones, did you know that 12 days ago, your attorneys messed up and sent me an entire digital copy of your entire cell phone with every text message you've sent for the past 2 years, and when informed, did not take any steps to identify it as privileged or protect it in any way. And as of 2 days ago, it fell free and clear into my possession. And that is how I know you lied to me when you said you didn't have text messages about Sandy Hook. Did you know that?
I told you the truth. This is your Perry Mason moment. I gave them my phone, and then.
Mr. Jones, you need to answer the question.
No,
Did you know this happened?
No, I didn't know this happened. But I mean, I told you I gave them the phone over. Just
Just
And
answer
you
the
said,
question.
you said in your deposition, you searched your phone. You said you pulled down the text, did the search function for Sandy Hook. That's what you said, Mr. Jones, correct?
And I had several different phones with this number, but I did, yeah. Well, of course, I mean, that's why you got it.
No, Mr. Jones, that's not what happened.
My lawyer sent it to you, but I'm hiding it. Okay.
Mr. Jones?
Mr. Jones, that?
Please just answer questions. There's no question. Mr. Bankston also only asks questions.
Sure. Mr. Jones, in discovery, you were asked, do you have Sandy Hook text messages on your phone? And you said no, correct? You said that under oath, Mr. Jones, didn't you?
I mean, if I was mistaken, but you got the messages right there.
You know what perjury is, right? I just want to make sure you know before we go any further. You know what it is.
Yes, I do. I mean, I'm not a tech guy. I told you, I gave in my testimony the phone to the lawyers before, whatever, and so you got my phone, but we didn't give it to you.
No, Mr. Jones. One more time.
Remember, anything you say in a deposition can be read into the record. I don't know if juries are automatically given access to the full deposition, but assuming it wasn't objected to during deposition, if you said it in a deposition, it can be brought up and read into the record. So you can't say that well, I didn't say that, or there's a reason why you do your oath pledge or whatever.
Please remember, if you need to assert the Fifth Amendment, you can. I need to know that you can do that. But you testified under oath previously that you personally searched your phone for the phrase Sandy Hook, and there were no messages. You said that under oath.
Yes.
And you lied when you said it.
No, I did not lie.
Emails. You testified yesterday you don't have it. You got rid of your email 10 years ago.
Infowars email.
Oh, so now it's Infowars. You do use email though, don't you?
It's like household stuff and things like that.
So it's...
I don't personally send emails.
Sure.
My assistant does, and it's for broken sprinklers or whatever.
Okay. So you don't have emails about Sandy Hook? You don't have emails about this case?
You got hundreds of thousands of our emails.
None from you. And I didn't get hundreds of thousands of emails. Most of those, in fact, you would agree with me, nearly every email you've produced to me outside of maybe 100 are emails of Wolfgang Halbig and Jim Hudson. Because they sent you thousands of emails, right?
I mean, I quit opening email and using it before Sandy Hook.
Okay. So in other words, if somebody was to tell me, oh, I have emails from Mr. Jones that he wrote about this case in the past couple of years, that person be lying? You're telling the truth?
Somebody else has got my InfoWars email because I haven't been using it all.
That's not qualified, Mr. Jones. You know in this case you were asked to produce your emails, any emails you had about Sandy Hook. You know you were asked to do that, right?
Yeah.
And you said you didn't have any.
I told my IT people, go, you've got all that stuff.
No, Mr. Jones, I'm saying in deposition, under...
Being charitable, is it possible to just be wrong about something? Like, does the prosecution have to prove that you lied? Or just that you were wrong? I mean, you can say you were wrong or whatever, but now you have no credibility. So how are you going to testify in your case if you've lied about things conveniently? Like, and a jury's not going to believe that you're just conveniently forgetting the things that are also helping you, but remembering things that are, like, that's never happening.
Oh, sworn to God, you said you don't have any emails with Sandy Hook because you don't use email, right?
I mean, I think I have. I mean, I haven't been using InfoWars email, and it's got to be a decade or longer in my memory.
I don't.
We're with Infowars.com email.
No, Mr. Jones. No, it's not what I'm asking. You notice when Mr. Watson emailed you, right? He didn't have an InfoWars email address, does he? He has like Paul Watson at sky.com. It's a UK email address. Did you notice that? Right. We asked for all emails, and you told us you don't use email. And there are no emails for Sandy Hook. That's what you said under oath, isn't it?
There might be, I'm sure there might be like privileged emails where like lawyers are requesting documents or stuff about the case.
Mr. Jones.
Yeah.
First, objection on response.
Sustained.
Did you testify under oath that you do not use email and that there are no responsive emails relating to this case? Did you testify to that?
Yes, I personally do not get on the internet and sit there and use email. I never send emails myself because I don't like it. I can't stand it. There's just too many of them. That's a fact that I don't use email. I call people on the telephone.
Okay. Your Honor, excuse me, Mr. Jones. I'll show you this document. Is that your email address?
Yes.
Did you write an email? Is that an email, Mr. Jones?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jones. So
I'm not reading it. It's just from, what's this have to do with Sandy Hook?
I'm not asking you a question other than that's an email you've sent. Let's start there. Can you do that? Can you say that's an email you sent?
I must have dictated that to my assistant.
Okay, so there are, you would agree with me, there are emails, let me have a little thing undone with that. There are emails that you've sent to your lawyers, your staff, and others concerning your business operations that we requested for, Sandy Hook, other topics that have been requested in this lawsuit, like Zero Hedge. You'd agree those emails, they exist. Do you agree with that or not?
I've dictated emails to people, and you guys have gone and gotten other people to give you their emails. But that is my personal email that I use for personal stuff. Has nothing to do with Sandy Hook, unless lawyers have sent me emails there that my assistant prints off for me.
You talked yesterday about prepackaged food. You remember that? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
You don't remember yesterday testifying about selling prepackaged food?
Oh, yes.
And you sell these, some of them come in tubs that you could, for instance, like store for a long time in case something horrible happens, right?
Yes.
Okay. And in fact, you talk about that's one of your big items. That's a big deal type thing on Infowars.
Sure.
Okay. And you also talked about how it's a tough business in a lot of ways because you only have about a 20% profit margin on sale of food.
Said about 20 to 40, yes.
Okay. So, for instance, for every $100,000 in sales of food, that means you're profiting $20,000, maybe even up to $40,000.
Yes.
Okay. I'll show you another document, Mr. Jones. This has been marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit 132. Do you see that?
Yes.
Those are text messages of Tim Fruget, the operations manager of Infowars, right?
Yes.
And we requested information about your revenues in this case. You remember that?
Yes,
Didn't give us this, did you?
there's a lot of stuff. I mean,
Yeah, you didn't even look through your text messages, Mr. Jones. You hid them, right? Correct?
no,
Okay.
I gave it to the lawyers. That's why you have it.
That's not
I mean, this is ridiculous.
Plaintiff's Exhibit 132.
Are you
let's
moving
just-
to admit it?
Yes, can we, no, yes, I'm sorry. Can we move to admit Plaintiff's 132 at this time?
Any objection?
Is this lawyer even awake?
Admit Plaintiff's 132 at this time?
Any objection? Plaintiff's 132 is admitted.
Before we put that up, Mr. Jones, I just want to...
Why did his lawyer allow him to take the stand? So in a criminal case, you typically want to plead the Fifth Amendment, meaning you don't have, or you have a right to not self-incriminate. You could take the stand if you think it'll help you, but you could be asked questions that theoretically could incriminate you if you waive your right to, plead the Fifth. In a civil case, that same right is not afforded to you in the same way, such that you don't have to take the stand in a civil case, but the jury is allowed to use that against you. In a criminal case, if, I want to call you to the stand and ask you, did you murder her? And you say, no, I'm pleading the Fifth. I'm not going to self-incriminate. The jury can't, the state can't go, oh, well, look at this guy pleading the Fifth. He's obviously guilty. The jury's not allowed to consider it in that way. But in a civil case, if you're like, I don't want to say shit about this, then the jury is allowed to say, like, oh, well, that's pretty fucking sus, motherfucker.
I want to make sure you understand something about these emails. You understand that when your attorney sent me your whole phone, he didn't mean to do that. You understand?
Objection, Your Honor.
I just want to make sure this is not discovery.
Well, I do think it's important that, since we're discussing all of this, that the jury understands discovery is a process that occurs and concludes well before trial. What the lawyers say isn't evidence, so we don't know whether it was on accident or on purpose, because we don't have evidence about that. But what we do know is that it wasn't properly turned over when it should have been. There's no question, Mr. Jones.
Yeah.
So you need to ask a question that is not cause for speculation. And even if Mr. Jones does know, he would have gotten that information from Mr. Reynal, his attorney, and so it would be protected, most likely.
Most likely.
Dumb.